Uh, uh, Welcome to the Tuesday program of the Manor Club. I don't know if you can see me. I'm Alice, your president. We have some little glitches here and there in the Zooming, but I think you'll be able to hear us all. I just have a few announcements. First, the Scholarship Fund. I want to urge you all to contribute to that. Your donations, I hope, could be in by the 15th. It would be nice to be able to be generous to two deserving young people and participate in their future this way. The other thing, as you know, we have an Easter raffle, and we'd be delighted to have you participate. The March raffle was very successful. It was won by Kathy Gregware, and she generously donated half of the Irish pot of gold back to TMC. So thank you, Kathy. That was very, very generous.
Very lovely.
Okay, some good news too about the roof. The bids for the event and the roof have gone out, and they should be back by April 15th. And we can thank Chris Cameron and Sheila Cameron, who is our grants person, for shepherding this really enormous task through the steps that we need to take. So thank you to both of them. Next week's program is going to be on skincare. And the speaker has generously provided 25 of us with samples. So if you would like to have a sample, please get in touch with Jessica by Thursday and put your name on the list so that you too can have a new experience. In any case, I'm going to turn this over now to Celeste, who will introduce our speaker. And I look forward to astrology.
Thanks, Alice. Okay, ladies, you're able to see Pamela in her lovely top, beautiful color. She may fade in and out because she's Zooming with us from Mexico. So we can still hear her, and I'm sure that it will be a very enriching program. You all know and have read that Pamela Cuccinell holds the National Council for Geocosmic Research professional certification for astrological consulting. Her weekly astrology podcast is called Active Spirituality. She is co-director of Westchester Holistic Network and writes a monthly forecast in Natural Awakenings magazine, which you probably see at the local supermarkets. She lives in Chapala, Mexico, and thanks to the internet, she serves many clients in many time zones. So welcome, Pamela. We look forward to listening to you and hopefully seeing you move around as well. So,
thank you. Muchas gracias. This is a real treat. I look forward to when I actually physically can be in New York, which I anticipate maybe in the spring or certainly in the fall. So I never intended to be a professional astrologer, but since my background is that of an artist, I didn't have a linear business plan. I started to study astrology when I was single and living in New York City. And there were, and still are, lots of teachers who give evening and weekend classes. I discovered that astrology could help me understand the people in my life better and perhaps be a tool to help me make better choices. Some of you may be skeptical, but I'll explain how. Astrologers use shorthand terms when speaking to one another, and when that slips into a session or general conversation, this can be off-putting to people who don't know our language. I do my best to avoid this and to explain jargon, but please write in chat anything that I may say that lacks clarity, and I'll do my best to respond. And hopefully, when I'm done doing my little talk here, we can do some Q&A if anybody has some specific questions. Most people have heard of the 12 signs of astrology based on where the sun was at birth. Just to clarify, although the signs have the same names as constellations, they are not the same thing to most astrologers. We divide a 360-degree wheel into 12 30-degree signs. Astrologers know that the constellations do not sprawl across the zodiacal belt in even 30-degree increments. The ancient Greeks were keen observers who celebrated classical symmetry, so they gave each sign equal weight. These signs indicate qualities of human expression, areas of focus and interest. People enjoy astrology as entertainment in relation to themselves. Sorry, I lost my place. Yes. Oh, right. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah. People enjoy astrology in relation to themselves, relationships, and celebrities. Yet others think it misses the mark because it's too general. Some people say astrology makes no sense because there are more than 12 kinds of people. They are correct, of course. The sun sign column was invented at the beginning of the 20th century to generate income for an astrologer named Alan Leo. A smart guy, he knew that most people can find out their sun sign, and he suspected that they would want to read something that was about them. So astrologers have a love-hate relationship with sun sign columns. They get people interested in astrology, but they don't supply its depth. Astrology is so much more than entertainment, which is why for people who use it dimensionally, it's like a superpower. How can this be, you may think? Well, for instance, I mentioned to Celeste that I preferred another date for this meeting because this particular time I didn't think was going to be so smooth, but I'm meeting nice people, I knew I would, so that's good. Now, the other way is I can tell you Lily is a Virgo. So because she's a Virgo, we suspect she pays attention to details. She has editing skills. She likes routines, gardens, probably pets, and prefers to do things herself because that way she knows they're done the right way. She has focus, but with flexibility. But we only know how Lily shines. It's like saying, Lily is an actress. We know her profession, but we don't know the role she takes, her range, how she lives, and how she loves. The sun only shows one aspect of who you are, although an important one. It's like knowing your profession. As the center of the solar system, the sun symbolizes what lights you up, which in reality may or may not be your profession. Many astrologers look to your moon sign as being more indicative of how you do life, because the moon sign shows your emotional side, your habits, what makes you feel comfortable, how you react to things, and how you take care of yourself and others. When I add to the mix that Lily has the moon in Aries, we know more. An Aries moon does not like to hold back how she feels. She cares most about what she wants and will do things her way. Virgo and Aries are very different signs. So when a person has this kind of juggling going on within her psyche, she's got to learn how to feed all parts of herself. The sun changes signs every 30 days. The moon changes sign every 2.5 days. Then we also look at the rising sign. This was the sign coming over the horizon when you were born. It's also known as the ascendant. This sign changes every 2 hours. The rising sign indicates your persona, the face you show to the outer world. These 3 symbolic points, sun, moon, and rising, can all be in different signs. So you can see how we catalog a lot more than 12 kinds of people. Lily has Cancer, the crab rising. So she projects out sensitivity. People see her as someone who gets them, even nurturing, yet they don't really know her because she's got her protective shell. This can be a useful persona for an actor because she shows you a human connection that is relatable. But she can keep her private feelings to herself. I'm talking about Lily Tomlin, who's a highly dimensional person and an example of how the geometry of astrology reveals the uniqueness of each individual. Once we add to a horoscope the placement of the planets, the dimensionality expands. Each planet symbolizes a different realm of your psyche. Do these heavenly bodies relate to one another geometrically? What was the phase of the moon at your birth? The astrologer analyzes this dance in the sky as a snapshot of your essence at birth. And it can tell us so much. It can tell us so much about timing and when things are going to happen for you in your life. Now, the first step is to draft your horoscope. That's the two-dimensional picture of everything that was above and below the horizon when you were born. The horoscope is a blueprint tool that shows an astrologer the challenges and strengths you came in with at birth. What you do with them is where free will enters the picture. That's why twins born at the same time can be very different people. A business has a birth chart from when it was incorporated. A country or a city has a birth chart as well. So we astrologers look at all these things. The chart of the United States, the chart of Germany. We do it for fun, speculation, theory, and it can help us understand what's happening in those places and their effect on the world stage. These blueprints of inception offer information about what has happened and what will happen when we look at them juxtaposed with where the planets move at different points in time. So we overlay different points in time with a birth chart, and that gives us symbolic messages of what's happening. So how do I decipher these challenges and strengths in somebody's birth chart? Each planet, heavenly body, and its geometric configurations have symbolic references. And over thousands of years, similar patterns mirror similar situations here on Earth. So a good astrologer also really likes to research, know her history, go back in time, see what was happening at different points to come up with ideas and an accuracy of what's happening now and will happen before us. And we do that with people too. So sometimes in a session, I might say to someone, what was going on in your life when you were about 10 years old, when you were really kind of dealing with something about authority? And what's happening now may have some sort of echo with what happened then. And that memory of childhood put in with what's happening now gives the client more information. Very personal, which the person can tell me or not. But what's important is that the client gets the information they need to understand what they're dealing with today. Another example is the planet Saturn was at 90 degrees angle to Pluto from Earth's perspective. in January 2020, which is a relatively rare configuration. So with research about what happened on Earth in the past, we had an idea of how it was going to impact 2020 and beyond. Computers have accelerated our ability to track data, as well as the ability for astrologers to theorize, teach, and share information, which has increased astrology's visibility and its relevancy. Interest in astrology has mushroomed with the internet, especially among millennials and Gen Z. One theory I've read is that the world is so confusing now, in desperation, people look for answers from soothsayers. I don't consider myself a soothsayer, and that isn't why I started studying astrology as a young woman, when I had to actually draft horoscopes by hand. Yes, computers, yes, we could do it with computers, but we learned the old-fashioned way, and computers were all DOS. It was a while back. Although looking for a fortune teller has always been a motivation for some people, many people are actually quite savvy in their online seeking. If you've looked into astrology on the net, you can find a rich amount of content. There is the woo-woo, way out stuff that conjures the hallucinogenic 1960s. But among the thousands of astrology sites on the web, a nice percentage of them actually have excellent material to educate. As in most things in life, it depends what you're looking for. There are many niches in the use of astrology, and not one professional astrologer is a master of all of them. It would honestly be impossible. There are financial astrologers with credible track records and monthly subscribers for their investment strategy. One famous story that a lot of, especially financial astrologers, like to say is J.P. Morgan used astrology, consulted astrologers, and he used to say, millionaires don't use astrologers, but billionaires do. I'm not a financial astrologer, but I do follow one, actually two. Other astrologers can suggest the most satisfying places for you to live or travel on the planet. Because believe it or not, where you live or where you put yourself for a period of time, just like the people you spend a lot of time with, you're either in sync with it or you're not. You can find psychotherapists and MSWs who use astrology to augment their work. There are astrologers who specialize in business coaching or career determination. Others specialize in timing weddings. They were very busy with rescheduling, unfortunately, in 2020. I had a few people talk to me about that. Did you know that the standard Myers-Briggs test stemmed from the work of the psychoanalyst Carl Jung, with his theories of introvert, extroverts, and the four functions: feeling, thinking, intuition, and sensation? And if you knew that, did you know that Jung studied astrology and came up with those theories based on ancient physics, which worked with earth, air, fire, water? The husband of my college roommate is an astrophysicist at NASA. He still loves me. We've known one another since we were in our early 20s, but he can't understand why I became an astrologer. Now, I have a theory about the disdain like my friend and Neil deGrasse Tyson have for astrology. If I'm at a party and someone doesn't listen well when I say, I'm an astrologer, they start talking to me about the latest celestial phenomena in the news. Of course, this interests me, but I know they think I said astronomer. When I correct them, they invariably walk away because they heard that I was who they wanted me to be. Now, if my friend is at a party and mentions astronomy, he's not going to react as gently to correct the person who says to him, I'm a Leo. What can you tell me about me? Because he thinks astrology cheapens his work. Now, I know my friend looks at the heavens and dreams of possibilities through his science mind. For me, the heavens offer signposts we can learn to decipher. This can reveal a cosmic logic that defies our human desire to be in control. It behooves us to work in concert with that logic instead of against it. It is, after all, a lot grander than we are. Astrology is an art form. I take the horoscope and discover the person once I put all the symbols together. Then I overlay what the sky looks like today, and I can see what are the important things going on in that person's life. In my work, I do look at businesses because many of my clients are entrepreneurs. I used to have a storefront, so I'm familiar with the language and the worries and concerns of overhead. We time good days for launches, events, and pitches. I can take another horoscope wheel of the person's child, spouse, boss, coworker, and see the dynamics at play in that relationship. This can help a client know the best way to approach and respond to another person. So it's not really about looking at the person and telling the client, well, this is going on with that person, et cetera, et cetera. But it is useful, for instance, in a child, to help the client understand how the child learns best, what the child will respond to best, what interests the child may have or be open to expose to, because we're all as unique as a snowflake. And I don't mean snowflake in the negative. At this point in my career, children of my clients have become adults, and some of them see me independently for their own information as they're getting into their own world careers, especially challenging for a lot of young people at this point in time. Excuse me, I just need some water. I have to say, I wish I'd consulted a good astrologer when I was a young adult, because it can widen one's perspective and really take the pressure off, because timing is everything. And we all have different time frames on our journey. Carl Jung coined the term archetype to label the common response humans share to a concept like mother, father, savior, victim, wise man, and warrior. So for an astrologer, these archetypes can be Mars, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn. You don't have to know the Roman gods, but they represent universal parts of the psyche or archetypes. Astrologers use the language of symbols and mythology because they resonate within us. For example, Mercury, which races around the sun in its very quick orbit, was the messenger god. It symbolizes how we communicate and learn. And any third grade teacher will tell you that children learn differently. Actually, we should be recognizing that in daycare and certainly by kindergarten. The planet Venus is named after the goddess of love. It symbolizes what attracts you in a person, either as a lover or a friend. Venus shows what you are attracted to in fashion, design, or lifestyle. The placement of Venus in your horoscope indicates your relationship with money, self-worth, and what you most value. Mars is desire, the libido, how we assert ourselves and express anger. Jupiter indicates a person's ability to stretch, seize opportunity, and take risks. Back to that third grade teacher, Jupiter's orbit is it changes its sign roughly once every year. So as a result, 1/3 grade can learn and orient to lessons very different than the third grade after it or the one before it, because the odds are that the children's Jupiter is in roughly the same sign for the majority of kids. So because it's about our ability to widen our knowledge, it's always interesting to talk to teachers of young children, what they discover year after year in the same age range. Saturn symbolizes the need to take responsibility, create boundaries, and discipline. There is much more to a planet's symbolism, and there's more planets, but this gives you an idea of how heavenly bodies represent a piece of the psyche and how deep these interpretations can go. When a planet makes a strong geometric connection to a person's sun sign, it changes the tone of its expression. In the same way, if a planet today is in the sky and makes a strong connection to a point of your birth sun, you experience what we call a transit, a period of time that the astrologer can predict what's up for you. For instance, Jupiter might present opportunity because it's about expansion, but Saturn, a limitation. It can be helpful to know what's ahead and when it's going to end, especially if it's stressful. As an astrologer, a lot of people ask me about love. It might be in the context of a 30-year marriage or 2 years of dating, or the client is single and wonder, what next? Long-term relationships settle into habits, but as the planets continually move in the sky, we can see triggers that upset, change, or shift the hum of a relationship. And back to ancient physics, astrology divides the 12 signs into 4 elements: earth, air, fire, and water. These qualities are quick ways to see how any relationship connects alchemically. Earth and water mix, as do fire and air. Now, I'll give you a very famous example. Prince Charles is a Scorpio sun with a Taurus moon and Leo rising. In a marital relationship, the position of the moon signs are extremely important. That's because our moon sign shows how we do home, what makes us feel secure and nurtured. For Charles, his moon in earthy Taurus wants comfort, stability, familiar foods, and possessions. Princess Diana had the sun in Cancer, which blended nicely with Charles's water sun in Scorpio, both water suns. They initially shone in the royal story. Her Sagittarius rising, fire, like his Leo rising, at first dazzled because they had magnified charisma. But Sagittarius takes risks, which challenged his Scorpio need for control. Finally, her moon in Aquarius is an air sign, which needed stimulus, discussion, independence, and freedom to feel safe at home. None of which will ever be offered in the royal family, at least not at this point in time. If not for Camilla, they might have been able to work through these differences, but since Charles had a more comfortable place to go, he went. Camilla is also sun in Cancer, but her Leo rising is in total step with Charles's. Camilla would never spin past him on the dance floor. Her moon is also in the sign of Cancer, nicely compatible with his Earth moon. So people will ask me, what is my most compatible sign? And it's too narrow a question to answer based on just the sun sign. Another famous marriage, but one very long lasting, was Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. He was an Aquarius, an air sign. She a Pisces, a water sign. Air and water. But a look at their complete horoscope wheels showed their beautiful compatibility. Her moon was in Aquarius. He was in Aquarius, so he felt seen in her emotional landscape. His moon was in Pisces, so she shone as his ideal woman. They both had Capricorn rising, projecting a rock-solid commitment to one another. Admittedly, most long-term marriages and relationships don't have that much in sync. I certainly don't have that with my husband, and we're going on 28 years. But we know that any relationship, even Woodward Newman, takes work and commitment. Some of us look for a mate who shares our tastes, enjoys the same pastimes in the home, is like a well-oiled clock. Others need a mate who brings in qualities we lack, who may challenge us, with whom we come together on some things, while other pursuits are totally separate. There's no template for the perfect marriage or business partnership because people are different. We want different things. So back to Lily Tomlin. Consider her long work partnership and friendship with Jane Fonda. Now, Lily, a Virgo, could easily be run over by Jane, a fiery Sagittarius. But Lily's Aries moon wants things her way. Jane's Leo moon is generous, proud, and wants to have fun. So let Lily have her way. Lily has Cancer rising and Jane Capricorn. These are opposite signs. And this actually creates a compatibility because opposites do attract in astrology. Even when they drive us crazy, they do attract because we move towards that person who has what we lack and are here to learn from. There's 12 signs in astrology, but there's 6 polarities. As a result, neither woman overpowers the other because their differences complement. So for the entertainment component of astrology, we're going to run through the 12 signs, but you're going to have a new awareness that you're more than your sun sign. I'll also mention some people's moon signs, and therefore some of the celebrities that I tag will come up more than once. This way you can get an idea of what they put out in the world and how it's enhanced by their emotions. Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiacal belt. And if you know an Aries, they're going to be first, one way or the other. 0 degrees Aries aligns with the spring equinox. It's a fire sign, which means inspiration is their trigger. Cardinal signs initiate the seasons. Aries are the ultimate fresh start people. Pioneers, yes, but not always leaders nor managers, because they won't necessarily look back to see if you are behind them. The symbol is a ram. They don't like to wait, and they don't like to lose. They like to drive the car and enter situations head first. Same as Aries, Charlie Chaplin. Oh, and also Aries is represented by the head. So sometimes hat wear or hats, which aren't as common now, but it can be an Aries thing. So famous Aries, Charlie Chaplin, certainly known for his bowler hat. Hugh Hefner, well, he was actually known for that stocking hat for sleeping. Lady Gaga, she's got a closet full of hats. Maya Angelou, Vincent van Gogh, Quentin Tarantino, Thomas Jefferson. To give you an idea how the moon sign also can be very expressive, not just the sun sign, both Steve Jobs and Bill Gates were born with the Aries moon. Their sun signs are quite different, and I'll talk more about that later. Both their sun signs were water signs, and maybe I mentioned it to the folks before I started talking. Water signs can be very good with money. Taurus. The sign of the bull is a fixed sign, meaning it sustains the season. Fixed sign people are good at stick-to-itiveness, but one could also say that they're stubborn. An earth sign, Taurus to tangible and physical manifestation. If you go to a party, the Taurus will beeline to a comfy position, often near the buffet, and stay in one place. They savor the moment, touch, like to settle in, and resist change. Their homes and closets have objects and clothes that project value and craftsmanship. They often have tremendous recuperative ability and a distinctive voice. Famous Taurus, George Clooney, Queen Elizabeth II, Barbara Streisand, Jerry Seinfeld, Stevie Wonder, Leonardo da Vinci. And for some moon sign examples, Meryl Streep, I'm still here. I just want to get to my next person. Oh, Robert Downey Jr., Gemini, the sign of the twins, because a Gemini always needs someone to talk to. Air signs are verbal communicators, mutable signs, and the season that lead into the next, so they are flexible. Geminis are the original multitasker. And many of them can really do it, unlike those of us who try. I'm just getting some more water. If I'm frozen, I'm telling you why there's a pause. Geminis fly from one thought to the next, and some people see them as inconstant or all over the place. But most of them are curious and follow what captures their interest, sometimes making connections others would miss. The Gemini notices new businesses, the new neighbor, and news. A bit of a trickster, sometimes a big trickster. They keep you guessing. If you come home to a room where the furniture has been moved around for a new look, the odds are you live with someone with strong Gemini. Famous Geminis: Johnny Depp, Russell Brand, Anderson Cooper, Helen Bonham Carter, Bob Dylan, Donald Trump, moon sign Geminis, Jim Carrey, and Goldie Hawn. Cancer. This cardinal sign begins with the summer solstice. It's a water sign, which means these people feel the room. They know who's hurting without words, and depending on their comfort level, they either steer clear of them or go to listen. Water sign people have potential to do well with money because they get the ebb and flow of life. Cancer sun people expect you to pick up on their moods and feelings, which can disappoint them because not everybody is equipped with their sensory awareness. The sign of the crab, they go into their shell to recover from the buzz of the outside world. No matter how social, they love the comforts of home and are usually food and sleep conscious. Cancers have strong connections with their origins. They thrive near bodies of water and often love water sports or long baths. I think because I'm talking about water, I need more. Okay. Sorry, I need a moment.
You okay?
Sorry.
No, you take care and get yourself squared away. I can't see you, but maybe standing up would help. I'm in awe of all the things you're saying, though. It's like so interesting.
Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Just
Okay.
close it out. If you would like to shorten it, you should, if you don't feel like speaking too much more.
No, I'm good. I just needed another sip of water, and Jessica might want to pause the recording for just a minute.
I don't know. Thank you.
Okay, great. So famous cancers: Prince William is a new moon in Cancer, both the sun and moon. And as I mentioned previously, Diana, his mother, was the moon in Cancer. Robin Williams, Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, Anthony Bourdain, Frida Kahlo, Nelson Mandela. Sorry, I'm just taking that lozenge that Celeste advised. It's doing his work. So the famous moons in Cancer, Keanu Reeves and Taylor Swift. Leo, the fixed fire sign. Leo is like a captivating fireplace that must be tended and fed. They need attention, which is often easy to do because of their accomplishments. They love to play and be inspired. Their self-expression can be dramatic and over the top, or they find other ways to get the acknowledgement they crave. They are courageous, creative, loyal, generous, and romantic, but they're vulnerable because of their need to be liked. Leos may be exhausting to some, but they never bore. Famous Leos, Madonna, Jennifer Lopez, Mick Jagger, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, J.K. Rowling, Andy Warhol, Barack Obama, Moon and Leo, David Bowie, Queen Elizabeth II. They accept change when necessary and dive into new routines and reorganization. Virgos gravitate towards healing and service professions, but don't pigeonhole what this means. Remember, Lily Tomlin is Virgo. Laughter can be good medicine. Virgos are perfectionists and do best to remember that sometimes good enough is what is needed more than flawless. Virgos can be very sexy celebrities. They shine bright, but keep private lives. Whatever their craft, quiet restoration time is the necessary fuel for them to do more. Famous Virgos, Beyonce, Keanu Reeves, Freddie Mercury, Prince Harry, Mother Teresa, Sophia Loren, Sean Connery, Bernie Sanders, Moon in Virgo, Madonna, Jodie Foster, J.K. Rowling. Libra opens the autumn equinox and it's an air sign. Libra is symbolized by the scales. Librans strive for ever elusive balance. If you've got a room full of people in agreement on an issue, the Libra will open discussion about the other side. Decisions are never made in haste and often require conversations for other perspectives. Librans are partner-oriented and not the type to go to a movie alone. Everything is better with another's perspective. Diplomacy, design, calculated strategy, legal matters, art, and cultural pursuits are often their strengths. The sweet spot of harmony may not last long, but it's always pursued. Famous Librans: John Lennon, Hugh Jackman, Mahatma Gandhi, Julie Andrews, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Kamala Harris, Moon in Libra, Maya Angelou, Tina Fey. Scorpio is a fixed water sign. Intense, tenacious, the keeper of secrets. They don't do relationship light. When young, it's best to guide them to avoid the use of the scorpion sting. Living well is indeed the best revenge. They are rigorous researchers to the point of obsession. Scorpios do not like to let anything go that they are attached to, habits, people, objects. They can endure situations that most people would have left long ago. But when they've decided they're finished, lesson learned, passion gone, they simply walk away, done. As a result, Scorpios tend to live many lifetimes in one. Famous Scorpios: Julia Roberts, Demi Moore, Goldie Hawn, Bill Gates, Jodie Foster, Picasso, Marie Curie, Joe Biden. Moon in Scorpio: Lady Gaga, Mark Zuckerberg. Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign, exuberant, spontaneous. They love to travel, even if only through books and film. They have strong opinions about justice and often value a traditional religion or philosophical study. Sometimes quite athletic or a lover of spectator sports. They can be excellent teachers because they love to learn and share their knowledge. Yet their thoughts can race out without thinking of how they're going to be received. They love to tell stories and are often quite good at it, even when the tale they love to tell stories and are often quite good at it, even when the tale gets taller than truth. As a result, they can be excellent salespeople, whether products, concepts, or winning you over to their side. Moderation is not their thing. Taking risks and gambling can add to their charm as long as they know when to quit. Famous Sagittarius: Taylor Swift, Bruce Lee, Steven Spielberg, Pope Francis, Walt Disney, Keith Richards, Andrew Cuomo. Moon in Sagittarius: Oprah Winfrey, Picasso, Tiger Woods. Capricorn: opens the winter solstice, the cardinal earth sign. The sign of the goat, these people take the long haul to reach the desired goal. They don't value things that come easy. They're here to strive. Responsible to their commitments, they work to achieve status and respect. Success only matters to them if they've achieved their desired summit. They want letters after their name, awards, and titles. They work to be the top in their field. They do best to forgive themselves if they've missed their mark, because after all, we learn from our failures. Many Capricorn comedians have taken self-deprecating humor to the bank. Famous Capricorns: David Bowie, Elvis Presley, Jim Carrey, Dolly Parton, Jeff Bezos, Greta Thunberg, who also has the moon in Capricorn. Moon in Capricorn: Seth Rogen, Sofia Coppola. Aquarius is the water bearer and yet an air sign. Aquarians are very good at analyzing an emotional situation to supply objectivity and perspective. They can be great humanitarians, but to get along with certain people can offer more of a challenge. Aquarians value freedom and are independent thinkers. They can be tremendously forward-looking, computer geeks and visionary, change agents, or eccentric, anachronistic, and unlike anyone else you know. They are often gifted networkers because they like to interface in community. As a result, they can have friends from many different walks of life because of their eclectic interests. Famous Aquarians: Oprah Winfrey, Mozart, Ayn Rand, Ronald Reagan, Abraham Lincoln, FDR, Michael Bloomberg, Carole King. Moon in Aquarius: John Lennon, Billie Eilish, Gillian Anderson. Pisces: two fish swimming in opposite directions, mutable water. Highly creative with a rich imagination, Pisces can invent, Pisces can dream. Often love to dance and or make music. They can be glamorous artists, mystics, or excellent at conceptual theories. It's everyday details that sometimes elude them. They have the ability to pass through situations unseen or with all eyes on them. Many are actors. They can become who they need to be. Very sensitive. They do best with clear boundaries. A strong desire to connect with the numinous. Spiritual routines keep their feet on the ground. A restorative retreat does wonders for a Pisces spread too thin. Famous Pisces: Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, James Taylor, Alexander McQueen, Ruth Ginsburg, Ron Howard, Mitch McConnell, and Mitt Romney. Moon in Pisces: Prince, Audrey Hepburn, and Leonard Cohen. So, I hope you have more of a sense on why astrology continues to captivate thousands of years after its inception. And thank you for bearing with me with my cough and my lack of visibility for some. But now's the point when I don't know if we have time for questions, but thank you, Celeste.
Well, you're welcome. I think we do have time if there's any questions. You can either verbally state them or you can put them in the chat. Okay, good. I have a question. How long does it take for you to become proficient in astrology? I mean, how many years are you pursuing this?
Oh, that's a good question. And I've been pursuing astrology obsessively because I have the moon in Scorpio since 1989.
Wow.
And some people take to it more quickly than others. And I turned out to be one of those people. What I was afraid of was the math, because I thought I was bad at math due to early childhood programming. But the thing is, if you really want to learn something, sometimes you'll figure out how to get there. And that's what happened.
That's
It's
terrific.
actually a very visual kind of math. And so for visual people, or people who are analytical, you can learn it quickly.
Mhm. Also, if someone wanted to have a birth chart, that's what you refer to it as, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much time does that take? I mean, is it a one-time deal, or do you have like ongoing discussions to get to the whole part of it?
Well, it depends what the person wants. You can get a free horoscope by going to astro.com. It's a fabulous website. It was funded by a venture capitalist who just loved astrology, and it has some absolutely terrific, the great minds of astrology on it. And it's a wealthy resource of all kinds of information. But you can go and get your free horoscope wheel, and then you can see what your rising sign is, your sun sign, et cetera, et cetera. Now, when people come to see me for a session, I have to say most of my clients come to me because something's going on, and some people figure they'll try anything at this point because
Right.
they just can't figure it out. Or other people are interested in astrology and want to work with another perspective, because astrologers are like any other profession. If you go see one, you're going to get a different lens looking at things, and we all have our biases and our strengths. So, however, you're probably going to get the same basic information if you see a few of us. But most people will start with saying, when I think of somebody I've seen for the first time, she wanted to know what was going to happen with a career change because of what's been going on with COVID, and did I have any perception on what that would look like.
Did you?
So she wasn't really interested in having me explain her birth chart to her. She just wanted to know what was going on now.
And when you told her, did it in fact come to be?
Well, we don't know yet. This was just a few days ago.
Oh, okay, okay. I'd be curious as to know if that really went. Now you're cutting in and out with the sound.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I think we should be grateful that we had it for as long as we did. Ladies, do you have any questions?
Well, let me say this. Sorry. Oh, I'm going to put my email in chat, and if anybody has any more questions, they can just contact me.
That's very nice of you. Thank you. You, despite all of our little glitches here, I think it was a fascinating program, and I certainly would love to know my birth chart and stuff. I'm sorry I didn't know you could get that sooner. It's a little late, but we could still try. Thank you so much. If there's no, there's one question, or is that what you just put up, Pamela?
That's my email.
Okay, that's your email. Ladies, if you have no further questions.
And, after you get your birth, oh, sorry.
Cutting out. Do you still hear us?
Yes, I can hear.
Pamela is in Mexico, and I know we all wish we were there with her. And I thank you on behalf of the Manor Club for agreeing to share your insights and knowledge with us today. You came to me now from Mexico. In any event, thank you so much, Pamela. And I hope that the ladies will pursue getting some additional information from you from your website. Enjoy the beautiful flowers and weather for all of us. And thank you for your time and sharing your talent with us today.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll be in touch. I'll send you an email.
Okay.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Okay, ladies.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.